Welcome to this broadcast of the Successful and Fulfilled Digital Summit. I'm Kim Warren Martin, and I have really been looking forward to today's training. Our trainer is Nikki Klug, owner and principal designer at Nikki Klug Design Group, Inc. Now you might be wondering, what does interior design have to do with being successful and fulfilled? Well, a lot. It's not often you come across an interior designer that has the ability to change the atmosphere of your environment, to shift the way we feel and the way we function at a deep level, to help our workspaces inspire productivity, for our sacred spaces to provide us the rest and restoration our very spirits need as we return from long days in sometimes cluttered, stressful, and draining environments. Nikki's passion for interior design extends far beyond making spaces beautiful, comfortable, or even simply functional. She firmly believes in the ability of spaces to transform our lives and help us experience what she calls everyday luxury living. So I present to you award-winning designer, international best-selling author, and my friend of almost 20 years, Nikki Klug, as she trains on pull, not push, to the life you love in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, welcome to the Successful and Fulfilled Digital Summit. My name is Nikki Klug, and I am so honored to be here today with my friend Kim Warren Martin. And gosh, oh my goodness, my journey to being successful and still fulfilled. I'd love to share some of my journey with you. And where do I start? Because I live this amazing life and have a career that I absolutely love, run a company and can travel the world. Actually, I am recording today from Delhi, India. And this was just a figment of my imagination at one point. And so here I am living my incredible dreams and feeling completely fulfilled after a journey of grinding it out to get to success. And then there was a moment and I paused and I realized it does not need to be this way. So I made some shifts and I did some internal work, and I'd like to share some of that with you today, if that's okay. I have been involved with some amazing projects, like breathtaking projects. I will share some of them with you here. Some have been with celebrities like Lisa Nichols. Some have been with clients from all over the world. This particular client was from England, and her home, we did so much and created such beauty where there was none. It was old and outdated, and she's just the most interesting character. I have been involved with projects like this complete gut and restoration of a 14,000 square foot home in Washington, D.C. It is the Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated International Headquarters. And we've just designed for some of the most dynamic personalities and loving families, and leading my team. And I get to travel. I get to see my family. I am really blowing my own mind sometimes, because I had all of these preconceived notions about what success would look like. And I thought one of the things was it would be lonely at the top, or I would be neglecting my family. And those things were non-negotiable for me. Those are not things that I wanted to be a part of my journey. But man, it almost didn't happen because, like I said, those were preconceived notions, and I almost bought into it. I almost didn't have this life that I live, and that would be so sad to me right now if I didn't. I mean, 10 years ago when we moved to San Diego, California, I had to start my business completely over. My husband's in the Navy, so we had to move, and it was in '08. If you remember 2008, it was a time when the market was depressed, the economy was in the tank, and it just was not a great time to start a business, not at all. But gosh, I was ready to try. And I was giving it a valiant effort, and I just hit a wall. Actually, I fell off a ladder. I fell off a ladder. I broke my elbow, and I had, the blessing of my mother coming to be with me for 6 weeks to help me rehabilitate and help me with my 4 children and driving them to school. And I was just starting to network and meet with other successful women. I wasn't too successful then, but I put myself in a position to meet successful women. And it was really starting to take some type of shape. But the day she went home, my heart sank. I felt like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? How am I going to go to rehab once a day, take the boys to school and their sports practices and their music lessons, and still grow my business? This is nearly impossible. This isn't going to work. And I literally just said in my mind, okay, maybe this just isn't my time. Maybe I'm not meant to be a designer. Maybe I'm not meant to run my own business. And I was getting settled with that thought. It was very, very depressing, actually. But I was dedicated to doing what was the best for and with my family. And I had an angel have a conversation with me. And that is our very own Kim Martin Warren. And gosh, I let her know what I was going through and just let her know that, yeah, I want to start my business, but this just isn't going to work out. And she said, you know what, just come with me. Just come with me to this conference. I'm going to be in San Diego, and I want you to be my guest. You don't have to pay anything. Let's just go. Let's just see, what options there are for you. So I went, and my life was literally changed. I was invigorated by this community of entrepreneurs that were dedicated to living their life in such a way that it was fulfilling across the board, not just in business. It was about winning in all areas of your life, in your finances, in your health, in your growth of mindset, and your education, and your career, and your relationships. Like, it was a holistic approach to success. And that literally gave me the spark that I needed to try again, to say, okay, let's set some parameters, let's set some priorities, let's learn this business in a way that, it can run itself and not require that you be there every moment of the day. And oh my gosh. So yeah, Kim, thank you so much for being my angel. Thank you for inviting me and seeing something that I needed that I didn't see myself. That really was a lifesaver. I don't know what I would do, where I would be without that moment in time. So I am forever grateful for that moment. But gosh, so what do I think it takes? What is it that I think takes to become successful and fulfilled? I'm going to give you 4 steps to fulfillment. And I start with fulfillment because here's why. If you're looking at this and you're saying, well, you didn't include successful in that, I guarantee you that if you reach fulfillment, you will be successful. And here's what I know. If you're anything like me, you're fulfilled when you're achieving results, when you are enjoying satisfying relationships, and you are growing and you are contributing to the world. Like, you're not going to be fulfilled, watching Jerry Springer all day. That's just not the type of person you are if you're on this digital summit. So let's focus on fulfillment, and I guarantee you success will come. So how do you get to fulfillment? Oh my gosh, if there's one thing I learned about entrepreneurship, about being the best whatever field we're meant to be, it's that pursuit grows you. Oh my gosh, does it grow you? So the first thing I would say is to expand your self-awareness and your self-love. Like really concentrate and focus on getting to know who you are. Like what's important to you? What is it that you want to accomplish in life? What's going to bring you joy, not just in your career or your business, but in your relationships? What type of legacy do you want to leave? And if I quote the great Olivia Pope, what do you want? Expand your self-awareness and your self-love. 2 would be to build your business around your life, not the other way around. Like, don't build your life around your business. Don't build your life around your career. Yes, that is important. And yes, it takes up, a solid third of our lifetime. However, I would say, look at the end goal. Look at where you want to be, where you want to go, and tailor your career, your business around that. We'll jump deeper into these topics in just a moment. Remain committed but not attached. So that's an easy and a hard one to explain because we're goal-oriented people and we want to get there no matter what. What I will say, though, is there's a way to measure things, to track things so that I did give it 100%. And this just is not the right approach. So remain committed, but not attached. And then the last thing I say is be present and enjoy each and every moment. Gosh, that's easy to say and hard to do sometimes, but I will give you a couple of tips that have helped me be present and enjoy every single moment of the day, even the things that I don't want to do. We'll talk about that. So self-awareness, gosh, if you've taken any of those Myers-Briggs personality tests or gosh, there's so many out there. There's 3 that I know of, and then there are other new ones that talk about your tendencies when you're dealing with people. There's just a myriad of personality tests. I say take those, So many times we don't have insight into ourselves. We have a perception of ourselves that no one else sees, right? We all as humans have a tendency to look at ourselves through rose-colored glasses because we know our intentions, we know our heart, but not everyone can see that side of us and they read what they see. And knowing other people's perception about us, it's not that it will change who we are, but it may change some of the things we do as we are translating what's in our heart and what's in our mind to other people so that they can receive that well. So self-awareness is very important, but not just in relationship to other people, in relationship to ourselves. Like, gosh, don't focus on the things that you aren't good at. There's a strengths finder test. That's one of the personality tests or in that realm of testing and finding out more about yourself, the strengths finder test. Focus on the things that you're really, really good at. And as a business owner, you want to delegate everything else. And yes, you may need to know how to do those things and what the processes are so that you can track with the people that's on your team and be able to have an intelligent conversation about those things. But you don't have to be the one to do them. So have self-love. Don't beat yourself up for the things you're not good at. Just supplement them. Learn and grow and fail forward in your mistakes. Don't, dwell on things. I love mistakes unless I'm not growing from them. If I'm making a mistake and I'm learning a lesson, that's just another valuable gift and tool and jewel that I will use in my business. So self-awareness and self-love is so, so very important. The last thing I'll say about this is you will not grow higher than your own self-value and self-worth. So if you don't feel like you deserve the success that you're seeking, if there's some internal chatter or some deep, dark root, and you have not gotten to that and pulled that out and grown through that sadness or despair or moment in time when you were 7 years old and someone told you you didn't deserve something that you worked hard for, whatever that is, we have to dig down to that. As successful people, you can you can play the game and cover over it. Some of us are so successful because we're trying to prove our self-worth. I would say that there's a better way to do it. There's a better way to be fulfilled and be successful, and that will be through loving yourself and clearing those vestiges from the past and having your future pull you into the future instead of you pushing towards something to prove your value and your worth. This is my family, and so many times we define ourselves by our family. But I would say dig even deeper. Like, yes, I have 4 boys that I work really hard to achieve success for their legacy and building for them. But really, I had to think about what is it that Nikki wants? And that's how I got into design, really, to be honest. I've been designing my whole life, but I was pushed towards chemical engineering because I'm so good in math and science that it just came naturally. But that's not what I wanted to do. And so when I started having my family, I did not finish my degree in chemical engineering because it was just not interesting to me. It was like climbing a mountain with no with no traction, like this steep mountain with no grit or anything to grab onto to pull me up, to give me that friction that I would need to go up. It was just not fulfilling at all. And so I did not finish my bachelor's degree. I instead decided to stay home and raise my family. I thought that's what was going to bring me fulfillment. And I absolutely love my family, would do anything for them, would die for my children like any other mother. But I needed something that was just for me. And so when I went back to school, it was after my youngest son was born. It was like, oh my gosh, I was meant to do this. And so that was part of my self-awareness and learning about myself and putting myself first. And gosh, when you say put yourself first, it's not an exclusion to everything else. It's putting yourself first and putting others' needs and taking care of those as a priority. So self-awareness and self-love. And that's my husband. That's my beautiful, caring, oh my gosh, just he's such a great provider and supporter, and I could do none of this without him. But I had to learn to stand on my own 2 feet and to do it without him. Our love is a choice. It's not a requirement in my life. Gosh, that may sound harsh, but I had to be able to love myself without his love. He basically loved me back to wholeness when we first started dating. But at some point, I could no longer rely on my husband. I had to be my own woman. So self-love is very, very important. Now, building your business around your life. So I knew that I love traveling. Like I said, I'm here in India on a 2-week adventure with a dear friend from college. And gosh, I don't know that I would be able to do this at a regular 9 to 5 because I've gone to 2 other countries this year alone. I don't know that I would be able to do it with the business that I had at the beginning because I was tied to my projects. I was tied to my team. Without systems in place, without structure, there was no way that I could do and live the life that I live now. So it was actually, Kim, I believe it was at Tony Robbins. We went together earlier in the year, but I had gone the past 2-3 years, and just this building upon each other, you grow into some of these things, but gosh, if you could grab onto this now, it would save yourself 8 to 10 years. I wish I knew this before. Some things you just have to come to on your own realization, but I guarantee you that if you make it a priority to set your vision for your life and decide to build your life, your business and your career around the vision that you have for your life, that you will be in such a better place. So, I mean, gosh, imagine your life dreams. No, seriously, like right now, in this moment, what do you see? What do you want? What are you doing in your vision? And where are you living? Like, what kind of home are you living in? What kind of car are you driving? Who are the people that you frequently meet with? Like, how are you showing up for your community? Really, seriously, answer these questions and create this vision that you can see, that you can touch, that you can hear. Like, put yourself into the sensories of this vision. Create this virtual reality for yourself. Imagine yourself in this life. And now let's edit. Is this the life you truly desire? Is this the life you were told that you should have, or that you assume will make you happy? Let's edit. Like, take away those things that really aren't important. If driving a certain type of car is maybe what you were told or what you saw of other people, but that doesn't really bring you joy, like, edit that. That's not important. Really focus on the things and the vision of your life that are important. Okay, so now this is the life you want to create. Now fill it in. What are the things that's going to help you get to this life? What career choice? What business opportunity? What structure of your business? Do you want a team of 5? Do you want a team of 20? Like, how are you going to move towards this vision for yourself? And, from a previous point, we want this, and we are certain and confident and assured that we deserve this. Okay, so that goes back to self-love. We have to know that this is for me. This is the life that I deserve. And this is the life that I will live. You take that vision and you start putting these building blocks in place. So you absolutely need systems. I kicked and screamed about calendaring all of my time because I'm a free spirit. I'm a creative. No one's going to tell me what to do, not even me, right? So having a calendar that runs my life is the only way that I get all of the things done that I get done. I have to put it in a time block in my calendar or it does not get done. Like, dinner is on a time block in my calendar. Exercise that I call longevity, it's in a time block in my calendar. It's non-negotiable. 4 times a week. If I miss one of my time blocks, if I'm moving one of my time blocks around, I feel bad about it. Like, I'm trying to make that time block fit somewhere else because it's important to me. It's important to the life I want to live. And it also helps you just control your time and manage your time and not let your time manage and run you. You also see there's no more room left for this committee that they want me to join on because I have my client time blocked out every single week and there's no white space. So building systems, whether it's your calendar, whether it's your marketing strategy, whether it's your social media posts or your finances, every single building block in your business and in your life really needs to have some structure and system around it. And it's the consistency of those things that will bring your business and your career into fruition that is worked around the life you want to live. So build your business, your career around your life. Gosh, this project was in Washington, D.C. I mentioned it earlier. There's no way that I could have participated with this and achieved such amazing results without calendaring and time blocking everything. 2 years of this project really had my life in a little bit of a frenzy. Flying back and forth to DC and still being a present mom and a loving and devoted wife was hard, but I know I was only able to do it because of my calendaring. So here's what we talk about: remain committed but not attached, because we've created this vision. We have these tools and systems in place that we think will help us create those things, but something's not working. Something is still not quite right. This one approach that we thought we were going to take, no, that's not it. But I say stay committed, remain committed to the end result. And I would say even stay committed to that one modality or one method of achieving that result until you know absolutely this is not right. Sometimes we just need to give things a chance to work. We can't start posting on Instagram and expect to have our phone ringing 10 times a day after just 2 weeks. Like, we have to stay with it. We have to follow the methods that are proven. And and measure our ROI, measure our consistency, measure, measure, measure. And after all the measurements are done, it's still not working, then okay, yes, it's time to move on. But so many times we give up on something right in the middle. And we really, if we keep doing that, we will never get to a place of success because we're not giving it an opportunity to really catch on fire, to really blaze. Like we're just smoldering in a lot of little different things, but nothing's ever really catching. So remain committed, but not attached in your processes, in your systems, in your approach to being fulfilled. But if it's not working, then move, switch, shift, tweak, refine. It's called WD-40 because there were 40 iterations. You know, Thomas Edison scrapped how many ideas for the light bulb? You have to keep plugging away at it and something will click. Just believe that, trust that, know you deserve it, know that your vision is your life, remain committed but not attached. One example was speaking. Speaking for me was something that really did grow my business, but at some point it just was not what I needed to do for my business. You know, being coached by Lisa Nichols and having her as a client and being in that community of people that are coaches and speakers and leaders and teachers, that is something they do. And I learned to do it and I was fairly good at it. I enjoyed it, but at some point it was too much for the clientele and I wasn't meeting the clientele through speaking opportunities any longer. So as my business base grew, my clientele grew, speaking was no longer on the table for me. So I had to say, okay, if that's something I want to do, how do I do it in a different way? So something like this, the Digital Tele Summit, is a way to achieve that same passion now that I have for speaking after kicking and screaming to get there. So yeah, that's just one example. Okay, can you think of anything that you need to let go? Can you think of anything you need to stick with? Stay committed, but not attached. And now the last one, be present and enjoy each moment. This journey, oh my gosh, why didn't someone tell me that I want to quit 50 million times? Like literally, how many times did I say, okay, this is too much. Nope, 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 this is not for me. I hate doing this part of it. Or, oh gosh, do I have to? Oh, if I had been forewarned, like I am attempting to forewarn you, maybe I wouldn't have had so much stress around it. Maybe I would have enjoyed the process a little bit more. I will share that you don't have to like it to enjoy it. You don't have to like going to the gym, but you can enjoy the commitment that you've made and the follow through that you've had in going to the gym because you want the results that going to the gym gives you. So enjoying something doesn't necessarily mean that you're good at it or that you like it, but you can appreciate and you can be happy about your commitment to this thing, whatever that thing is. And when I say be present, calendaring really helps me do that. You know, I said, I'm a free spirit. I just want to be able to say, okay, girlfriend, let's go to lunch. Or, okay, it's time to work on this client. And yeah, let's go to that networking meeting this week, but not next week. If you do that, you will be all over the place. I was all over the place when I was resistant to calendaring. But one thing, one gift that gave me is knowing that everything is handled. Like I have a time block to grocery shop. I have a time block to do laundry. I have a time block for everything that's important in my life. You will find it on my calendar. And so in doing so, I can really be present with my girlfriend at lunch because I'm not thinking about the laundry list of things I need to get done. They're already organized and spoken for and accounted for and blocked out. So I really can be present with my kids when we're at the movies. I will admit sometimes I text at the beginning of the movie and then I'm done. I put my phone away, I hide it. I do have those moments where I'm not fully present, but I try to make myself snap back out. Okay, you know that's handled on your calendar later. You know you will never get this time back. you know that they see you, right? So being present and enjoying each moment will help your heart be full. It will help your fulfillment, uh, which will guarantee your success. So please do be present and enjoy every moment. This is a moment in Barbados that I spent with girlfriends. We call ourselves the Legendary Collective. And we just one day said, hey, I want to travel to some amazing places. And I want to do so in a way that we can talk about business and not get on each other's nerves, because that's so much of the space in our heads. But we're also really having a great time. Who is that type of person? Who can do that with me? And so we created, and I invited this group of people. It's been amazing. We've traveled to some incredible places. I mentioned France earlier in the conversation. I was in Nice, and then we went to Italy. Oh my gosh, we saw Beyonce in Nice. Like, if that's not being present in the moment, I don't know what is, because we just seized that opportunity. The timing was right. We were already planned for that a year in advance, and we find out Beyonce's going to be there. You've got to see Beyonce if you're in another country, and she's there too. So yeah, being present, enjoying the moment. Let's recap. Expand your self-awareness and self-love. Build your business around your life. Remain committed but not attached. And be present and enjoy each moment. You know, I really can't say enough about the clients I get to serve. I feel so blessed that I'm given this gift and that I can bless others with my gift. This is a before picture. This is an after picture. I mean, sometimes I have to pinch myself that I get to do this. Like, I get to imagine and then design and then bring into fruition these beautiful, gorgeous, functional, grounding, elegant spaces. Like, I get to do this day in and day out. But really, of all the transformations that I have done in my 17-year plus career, the biggest transformation has been me. And so I challenge you and encourage you to think about some of the things I presented to you today, and think about the ways that you will grow in pursuit of your vision for yourself. And it's really been my pleasure and my joy to share my journey and give you some things to think about. And I thank Kim so much again for pulling me in and being such an integral part and a linchpin, if you will, of my success and fulfillment. It's been a pleasure to serve. And because I'm so honored to participate with Kim in this summit, in this digital summit, I'd like to offer you a gift. Because one of the things that you should be thinking about as you're visioning for yourself is how you're surrounding yourself in your home. Not just the books you read and the music you listen to and the friends that you have. We know all of those things influence us, right? The things that we surround ourselves with. What inputs is oftentimes what gets put out. We want to do the same thing in our home. So I'd love to help you in that way. I'd like to give the very first 3 people that reach out to me will receive a complimentary 30-minute Skype or Zoom or whatever video web sharing platform you use. And it'll be a great time. We will explore on some ways that you can create a home that you absolutely love.
Hi, I'm Kim Warren Martin, and I'm the founder of Successful and Fulfilled, where our mission is to help women to embrace the courage I know you already have to step out of your comfort zone and live life the way you want to live, not just the way you're expected to live. It's not about leaving your job, your family, or school, or any of that. It's about launching into what I call the #undeniable you. So if you want to be a part of a mastermind and enjoy the type of training and support you're receiving now, where experts talk about components of self-mastery, business principles, and wealth building, if you're looking to make sure you're connected to a resource that is all about supporting you to live a successful and fulfilled lifestyle, come on over to www.successfulandfulfilled fullfilledinterview.com now. I want to meet with you to make sure it's a good fit. If you want to be a part of this movement of individuals dedicated to not only the emotional state of happiness, but also the soulful state of fulfillment, I invite you to a private conversation to make sure you learn more about us and we learn more about you. Come on over to www.successfulandfulfilledinterview.com now. It is a great way for me to learn more about what you want to be successful, about what you need to be fulfilled, and what's most important to you in your life. This is a highly customized membership, so we are very selective. And so I want to meet with you to be sure it's a good fit for both of us. If you're ready to share your talents, your skills, your treasure, your expertise so someone else can live a successful and fulfilled life, this is the place to be. Maybe you want to share your story, or maybe you're called to serve others. If you want to collaborate, network, and connect with a group of women who have this one guiding belief: you don't have to sacrifice your success for fulfillment, nor do you have to sacrifice your fulfillment for success. You can #have it all, as long as you're the one who defines what it all is. So I invite you to come over to www.successfulandfulfilledinterview.com. Make sure you register and I'll see you there. Now you may be wondering, why do I care? Why do I do what I do? Well, my big why is to help women all over the world live life the way they want to live, the way they're called to live, the way they're created to live, the way they're purposed to live, and the way they're destined to live, not just the way they're expected to live. George Washington Carver said, "No individual has any right to come into the world and go out of it without leaving distinct and legitimate reasons for having passed through it." Growing up, I was absolutely convinced that singing and dancing on Broadway and being in movies in Hollywood were my distinct and legitimate reasons for being here. I could already see my name in lights and experiencing the costume changes, etc., etc. I even planned to go to performing arts school for college, but was waiting on the perfect time to announce it to my parents. Now, when I was a senior in high school, my parents invited me into the living room one night because they had an announcement of their own. They said that according to the Wall Street Journal, engineering and computing careers would be some of the top careers of the future. So because I was the oldest and because I was a role model, they were going to send me to engineering school. Now, all I could think of, my 18-year-old self was just like, how am I going to get an Oscar at engineering school? Literally, I felt like my entire life rested on that moment. Now, no amount of respectful rejecting could change their mind. So I went to school. I went to engineering school, and 2 years and 8 months later, I came out with a Bachelor of Science degree. Yes, I did, in a short time. And what I thought I had was my freedom. I thought that paper gave me my freedom and would please my parents. But I got a job, a real job. The money got good. I got promoted. The perks were awesome. I did well. And I was a wonderful role model, and my sisters followed closely in my footsteps. So there I was, a very artsy, analytical person in a scientific, technical world. And someone realized that about me and called me up one night and invited me to run the women's initiative for this multinational corporation. So my role was to help women get to the top on the technical side and on the business side. So I thought about it a couple of days and I said yes. And I did that globally. And I was literally told I changed the face of the corporation. One day I was working with a woman who actually told me no. She didn't want to get to the top. Now, I was absolutely shocked, but deep inside, I totally understood her. And all I could hear was my dream asking me, you know, Kim, you spent all this time helping all these women get to where we want them to be, but you never stop to ask yourself, where do you want to be? I had completely lost sight of my dream. And at that moment, I realized that the only thing the role model in me was demonstrating was how to live life the way I was expected to live, not the way I wanted to live. I was successful, yes, but I was unfulfilled. And for me, that was a defining moment. You see, I still love the arts, but what I realized is that the singing, the dancing, the acting were more about freedom for me, not entertainment. Freedom of expression, freedom of being, freedom of doing. And working with women all over the world, I have come to realize that every woman was born to live in a soulful state of fulfillment. And ladies, we can do it. because fulfillment is not a fantasy, it's a formula. And what I do know is I am not alone. There are other women out there like me who want to live a successful and fulfilled life. So is that you? If so, here's what I want you to do. Come on over to www.successfulandfulfilledinterview.com and let's have a conversation. I really look forward to seeing you there. Enjoy the rest of the summit.